how obviously the festival brings people together, and that's our main kind of goal and mission. And then very interesting collaborations start flourishing and happening, and it's across the board. It's in live performances, it's in world building, it's in filmmaking, and I guess perhaps a great example of like, oh my goodness, like wow, great collaboration happens. Like,
welcome to Metaverse Degen. I'm Lion. Oop. Raptor. Where'd you go?
What?
There you are.
I didn't move. I'm still here. What? What do you want? I'm Old Man Raptor, and the SOB can't figure out where I'm at. Sorry, folks. We have 3 guests here today and everything else like this. One is one we did a year ago and everything, but she's here. But they are...
Joe Hunting. I'm a filmmaker and curator of Raindance for 5 years.
Maria, I've been in the XR industry for quite a while, and in 2016, I started Raindance Immersive, and I'm the curator, alongside Joe, Fangs, Joanna, Troppy, and Jiu, who are sleeping at the moment.
Oh. Yes, they are asleep. And yo, folks know me. I'm Fangs. I am a musician and also a filmmaker, and I am the music experience curator for Raindance.
Oh, wow.
Hmm.
Well, thank you 3 for joining us. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on the show, so thank you.
Yes, it is. It's great to have you here. I really appreciate it.
So,
thank you for
It's our
having
pleasure.
us.
Thanks for having us.
no problem. Well, we'll just jump into the meat and potatoes of the conversation. What are you most known for? How'd you get started, and what got you into Vrchat?
Okay, so perhaps I start with the kind of wider context around Raindance. So Raindance is an arts and culture organization based in the UK, in London. And it originally started in 1992 as a film school, and it was started by a group of friends who had camera ideas, dreams, and they wrote a script, and then they started to shoot short films in central London and teach each other the art of filmmaking. And they were actually multidisciplinary artists coming from sculpture and architecture and all kinds of interesting backgrounds. And then after a year, there was like, oh, why don't we start a film school? So they started the film school in 1992. And then after a year, there were so many great short films that they decided, well, why don't we throw a festival to showcase all this amazing work? So in 1993, Raindance Film Festival started actually in a pub in London, in Soho district, which was fun. And they were just screening on a white wall in a pub, and that was it, very indie. And then because of over the years, the festival always embraced new technologies and very much the kind of experimental nature of independent filmmaking. Fast forward to 2016, Raindance was the first one in Europe or in the world, one of the first festivals, very early definitely, to start curating VR and immersive experiences. So those were the beginnings. And then how we got into Vrchat was, 2020, year of the pandemic. We wanted to continue the festival, and we very much knew that, okay, we won't be able to host the festival physically. So I started to kind of go back to various social VR platforms at the time, and then I just kind of reminded myself that Vrchat is probably the perfect home for us because Unity world building, and we created a virtual world here, avatars, and then as I was building the world with 2 friends, we didn't know much about Vrchat SDK or world building at the time. So I started to meet different world builders. So shout out to Lakuza and Fiona and Cyan and Fins and all the wonderful individuals who kind of helped us also with playtesting. So those were the kind of humble beginnings. And then as I was meeting different artists, I was also starting to become familiar with their work. And I realized like, oh my gosh, independent XR creators are here in Vrchat. And we are an independent festival that champions these artists. So in 2020, we introduced a dedicated award category for Best Immersive World. So yeah, that's how we ended up in Vrchat, and yeah, we are now a hybrid festival, both physically in London as well as here in Vrchat. Yeah, and perhaps Joe, you could
Brilliant.
kind of continue how we met again in VR in 2020.
Yes,
and
certainly, yeah.
Fangs, also how you came on board.
Yes, I mean, so I think so. The question was, for what you're most known for. Maria, you're definitely most known for like leading Raindance. To give you that spotlight and bringing it here too.
Thank you.
In a nutshell, just to make that clear. And in terms of how I got involved in the festival and my background, I have been a participant of Vrchat since 2018. So when I first started coming in, and my initial inspiration was to investigate filmmaking and to see if this would be a space that could be interesting on camera, and the sorts of stories and experiences and the profound impact that VR was having in a social way in this platform would be on film, and that was really intriguing to me. So I made a few short films from 2018 to 2020. And that then led to what I'm most known for, which is the documentary We Met in Virtual Reality, which premiered at Sundance in 2022, and then was acquired by HBO. So that's what I'm most known for. I got into Raindance in 2020 when Maria brought the festival to Vrchat and was wanting to expand the experience during the pandemic. And initially was not a curator role, and was somewhat of a supporter and filmmaker in the group, and then kind of slowly ended up becoming a really key part and wanting to be. I was so engaged in the festival, I ended up just kind of becoming a curator, and very grateful to Maria for that. And that's a good starting point for me. I think I will pass it over to Fangs.
Thanks, Joe. Yeah, for me, I am a musician, and my first actual show here on the platform as Cynthia was at a Raindance Immersive festival for Raindance Immersive 2022. And that's how I met Maria, and I basically volunteered to help. So in 2023, I helped shoot a lot of interviews with people in the selection, which was very fun. I got to meet Joe and the rest of the team, just volunteering my time and helping with the festival in general. And then in 2024, I got to be the curator for the music experience category. And 2024 was very, very fun. Yeah, so, and here we are in 2025. The rest is history.
Oh, wow. So I have a lot of questions, but I will lead in with this. How was Raindance evolved in the earlier stages before you came into Vrchat and VR as a whole? What led to the various growths between each year, may I ask?
Yeah, okay. So the first year, I believe we showcased only 14 experiences. Vast majority were 360 films, 2016. And maybe like one VR game and a few interactive narratives. Then in 2017, we kind of wrote a new chapter and introduced 10 award categories, each of which actually focused on XR and various genres within XR. And ever since, that's kind of how we do our curation. So each year we look at the XR medium and the industry as a whole, and we'll look at where is the innovation happening, what are the new creative techniques that creators are using, and yeah, what are the kind of new genres. So a couple of genres, they kind of stay every year, they're kind of staple genres. And there are best narrative, because obviously we come from a film festival background, so storytelling, immersive storytelling is super important. And games, because XR games are the bread and butter of the industry. And then in 2023, when Joe started to curate short films and music videos, they're also now a staple category, because obviously the incredible filmmaking community here is making wonderful work. So they're here to stay. And then Music is also another huge area. There's incredibly talented musicians, VJ DJs, particle geniuses here in Vrchat. So that's also now a staple category. And then where we kind of mix it up is within the kind of live performances category. So over the years, we've shown a lot of immersive theater with live actors. Shout out to Fairman Collective. We, I believe, had 2, if not 3 shows by them already in the selection. Last year, we had a dedicated category for dance with Dazbani and Steph and Yoikami and Taiko drum dancing representing the kind of incredible dance community here in Vrchat. So yeah, every year we look at what people are doing, and yeah, I'm not gonna lie, the most profound work, the most boundary pushing work is happening here in Vrchat and Resonate as well. Yeah, without a doubt.
Oh wow.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so each year, curation kind of changes up. We kind of our aim is to showcase the best of that given year in the industry. So, if someone's curious what's best in XR in any year, come to Raindance because we will tell you, we will show you, what's best. And over the years, it's, things have been evolving. So like last year, Apple Vision Pro launched. We had a lot of mixed reality games, not just on Apple Vision Pro, but also on the Quest 3. So that was kind of spatial computing and the early days of spatial storytelling, which was really exciting to showcase physically in London. Yeah.
I think if I can jump in, I think it's also really good to tap into just the audience of Raindance and how that was really transformative in 2020 when you brought it to Vrchat. There was it was a global audience, prior to that, with the physical London showcase, but bringing it to Vrchat regarding like space making and just the global architecture of this platform presented Raindance on a much bigger stage and allowed people from everywhere to submit and present. Well, people from everywhere could always submit, but to really engage with the festival in a really immersive way, and for us to hold virtual events in a global way. And so just on the angle of community and a global platform, we have a lot to thank for Vrchat, and that was a really transformative moment. Worth stating that there is also many projects in the Raindance selection that is outside of Vrchat. I know we're talking about the platform a lot, but we do also, that's important to us, as Maria mentioned. Just wanted to touch upon the global nature and how transformative that was.
Cool.
Yeah, and there's hundreds of people that turn around our XR showcase physically in London, maybe like 1,000 max over the years. But like last year alone, we hosted 65 live events throughout the entire month of June, with round about, let's say, like 60 people on average in an instance. There were some like dance experiences that only allowed like 10 or 20 or 30 people in an instance. Then some rave experiences allowed 80 people in an instance, so round about 60 people on average in an instance. And throughout the 5 weekends in June last year, we turned around about 3,000 people, which is a lot more than people who could physically come to the festival in London. Or you don't need to travel, you just put on a headset at home. And in 2023 it was another kind of leap year where we've really seen a huge amount of people from the Japanese community joining, because that was already the second year when we showcased work created by the Japanese Vrchat community, and each year it's just growing and growing and growing. Last year we had 30% of the selection was from Japan, so 12 out of the 36 selected experiences. And also shout out to the LGBTQI plus community here. Last year we showcased the work of 12 transgender artists, which was also 30% of the selection. And then overall there were a bit more than 50% female filmmakers or creators or game developers. So that was the first year when we had more XR experiences kind of created or directed by women than ever before. So yeah, it was really exciting.
Wow. I do have
I
one.
got a question for Line. I got one. When you guys are doing your rain dance, it's actually two questions, but maybe crammed into one. And usually I talk in riddles, so bear with me. When you guys are doing the setup for the event, that when it comes in, what is your funniest moment that you had when you were there, when you were doing whatever you're working on or anything like that? And what was the hardest that you ever had?
Okay.
Sure.
Funniest, I would say the most interesting or eye-opening, and there were several, but the first thing that comes to my mind was 2023. Shout out to PK. So we had one of his break shows in the selection called God is a DJ. And the backstory, it's a homage to Maxi Jazz, who was the frontman of the British electronic band Fateless. So in December 2022, sadly, he died. And PK and I started messaging, and I was like, well, maybe you could do like a commemorative show. And he's like, yeah, I want to do it. So like 3 or 4 months later, he actually did the show. And I knew that, we have to have it at Raindance. So not only that we had it at Raindance, but we actually were able to connect with Fateless, the band members in London. And myself and Zaran, who was PK's collaborator, the kind of lead VJ throughout the show, he's UK based, we went to the record label and we put Sister Bliss into headset with PK to experience the show. And it was just an absolute joy to see her for the first time in VR with a fan, PK, and obviously experiencing a really beautiful work. And she had incredible questions it was very much of an artist on artist kind of conversation. And when she put down the headset, she started to tear up. And yeah, Zaran and I were also very touched and kind of teared up as well. So that was probably one of the most beautiful moments.
That's a beautiful moment.
Yeah. So
Not a funny moment.
So now
not
what's
a
the
funny moment, but a very beautiful one.
Okay,
Sorry,
but
I'll
it's
share the
still-
You
beautiful
dodged
moments.
the question. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
you-
nice,
beautiful
though. That's
moment.
really nice.
Either of
Do-
you,
do-
What
you know,
about okay?
fun moment.
In that case, then, what was the hardest thing that you had just by yourself? What was the hardest thing?
I think it's mostly the kind of people who are trying to join our events, and then we are full, and then people kind of complaining on our Discord like, hey, how do we join your event? And we're like, oh, the instance is full, but we're live streaming on Discord. Or it's more just like people trying to join us and then not able to join us because we're full. Personally, that's the hardest.
Yeah. Well, I think too, like I'm not going to say everything we do is like rated PG. Not everything we have in the selection is, family friendly, but we're a pretty family friendly festival. And so we generally don't accept not safe for work accounts, which seems a little like pretty common here on the platform. So we've definitely had some run-ins with people who want to join our events, but we can't allow that because they have something explicit in their username, or in their profile or whatnot. So that can be quite a challenge.
Yeah, at the end of the day, we are an arts and culture organization from the UK, so we have to follow such standards.
Now I feel like I should share a funny one.
Okay,
Yes.
go on.
We've got
Please do.
hard, beautiful, and truthfully, I can think of so many funny moments over the years working at Raindance. But one that just always comes back to me, and I think is a compliment to this person as well. I'm going to share this one. In 2023, we had a lot of Japanese attendees coming in, and so much of the Japanese community are so incredible at infinite walking. So being able to walk in a circle in your physical room and virtually walk in a straight line. And one particular person who we had in the selection last year, Yoi Kami, with Shiro 4 Seasons. In 2023, before that, we were dancing together in this very club at the after party of the festival and chatting, and they had to go to bed. So I wished them a good night. We were in the corner towards that direction, and as I said goodnight to Yoikami, he says good night, and he proceeds to infinite walk from one corner of the room all the way to the other corner, and I stood in silence watching him walking the entirety of this club, and then walk down the hallway, and I was so impressed, and I was in silence. I almost kind of just dropped everything I had. It was me and Troppy standing there. We both went completely silent. We didn't talk for a straight minute whilst Yoikami walked from one room to the other. It was incredible to watch, and I'll never forget
That's so impressive.
that moment. Yeah,
Quite an exit.
Very impressive. It was a true immersive, talented exit from the club. So yeah, if you're coming to Raindance and
Dramatic.
you're at our party, that's a good way to impress me. Is to properly walk in and walk out. That's
Thank
my
God,
answer.
thank God he didn't turn around backwards and moonwalked all the way from one in and out down the hallway. That would have been even more impressive.
He
I would have
could.
sat there and
I'm sure
That's
he
true.
could. He's a
Could.
dancer.
hey,
Okay,
he's a dancer. Okay.
He definitely could.
So, the question I would like to ask, going off earlier when you guys first came into Vrchat, was the audience you brought with you from Raindance, how did they take to the change into VR versus what they were normally used to?
Okay. Well, in 2020, people were at home, so the XR community did have a headset at home, so there was no choice. And funnily enough, and I'm sure, Joe, you will recall these moments, there are moments that really make a festival feel like a festival, like when you're walking the red carpet, taking the group photos, announcing the awards, having also the physical trophy, which we do have a virtual representation in our Vrchat world and certainly throughout our award ceremonies. So the reception was incredibly positive. And yeah, there were definitely moments where it felt very real, very much like as if we were in London, almost indistinguishable from reality. Yeah, definitely. So people were very happy that the festival continued, and we just flourished when after we landed here, really.
I think also that hits on a really key point of that the festival was translated in a really clean way, in a really one-for-one way, where you still had all the sort of motifs of a film festival, and so people felt like they were present, and we were taking photos, and it wasn't a completely different experience. It was actually a really similar transition. So I know you kind of just said that, Maria. I'm just echoing.
And
your
shout
point,
out
but
to
I
you,
think,
Joe,
I think that's really
because
important.
Joe is the master of group photos, and just the way how you usher people and how you direct people and the perfect shots. It's beautiful. Yeah. So.
I think people watching this who have come to the festival are probably fed up with me trying to get photos of everyone by this point.
No way.
And there is always someone who is in a big bear avatar and blocks everyone, and Joe just masterfully kind of manages the situation.
Oh. Back into the moments as well over the years, what have been some of your favorite moments through Raindance from when you started to now last year?
Gosh, 2020, there is many kind of aha moments that happened, but yeah, I'll probably start there and you guys please share yours. But for me personally, was when obviously that was the first year we had the Best Immersive World Awards category. And I was very proud of that. I was like, okay, finally, a festival, and it's us who are spotlighting the talent here, because this is just gonna grow exponentially. So I've seen the potential, and the artists were, incredible, and we had the devouring at the selection, and I actually on Twitter I saw a tweet by Lakuza for a totally different world that he was making at the time, but then. At the same time, he was also working on the devouring with Cyan and Fiona and Legend. And yeah, Joe and we played it for 9 hours solid before we kind of selected
Whoa.
it. Yeah, that was incredible. We wanted to like uncover every letter and everything, and we had friends joining on us. And The Devouring was also nominated in Best Game category. And not only it won Best Immersive World, but it also won Best Game that year, beating XR developers to it. And my goal in 2020 was to show the world how incredible the talent in Vrchat is. And The Devouring winning even Best Game, that was that kind of aha moment for the industry to kind of start paying attention to what's happening here. And we had Mike VR Races was on one of the jurors, and he reviews games for living, UK-based, YouTuber, and he absolutely adored The Devouring, and he was just so proud giving that trophy to the team. So yeah, that was definitely kind of one of those first aha moments. And then over the years, I mean, the filmmaking talent, the musical talent is just every year there is like several people who just blow your mind. And last year there were two dance shows that made people cry, like they were like sobbing in headsets. So shout out to Steph, Apple Blossom, and Adidas for Frictions of a Modulated Soul. And also to Dust Bunny, Maikana, and Prowler, and the VRDA team with Shadow Canyon. They also made us very emotional, and we were all crying
There's a
in a
long
good
list
way. So
of
there's a long
projects that have
list.
made us
It's
cry.
every year there's
We're crying.
just
Mhm.
it's moments of bonding, moments of reminding us of our humanity despite all the things that are ongoing in the world. And the curational process is also really exciting actually for us, because we get to see talent, new talent, we get to see the potential. And sometimes we see that, okay, well, this has potential, but they're kind of like 60 or 70% there. So we organize meetings, sometimes weekly, sometimes bi-weekly, sometimes monthly meetings, help creators with script or user experience or whatever feedback that we believe helps them to really push themselves so that they achieve that kind of, internally we call it the Raindance polish or the Raindance shine. And yeah, that's super exciting and inspiring for us as a team of curators.
Wait, what about me?
What was your favorite moment?
What was your favorite?
Just
What
pass
are
the
your
buck.
favorite
It's
moments?
okay. Just
Oh,
pass the buck. I don't know what you're talking about.
my
That's the way you are.
favorite moments of 2024 or just in general?
In general, I think.
Yeah, in general.
Yeah, it was in
I
general.
mean, it's a pretty all-encompassing nebulous feeling. At the end of every rain dance, I do have a good cry. A
Aw.
cathartic a cathartic cry. But I do have a cry because I'm just overwhelmed with the immense amount of talent, and I'm just so incredibly proud of what people are creating here. It moves me. As someone who hasn't been in VR for a long time, I've only been at this for about 5 years now. It's just every year, the things that people create, the artists, their art that they create here on the platform just keeps getting better and better and better, more immersive, more moving, more visually stimulating. The music gets better. It's like endless. The sky's the limit. I'm just overwhelmed with, pride. I think that's like the only real word I can use to quantify it is pride. I have a lot of pride in our community, and all the artists here. So yeah.
Yeah, that's so mutual with everyone, not just us three, but the rest of the curation team. That's really at the heart of what we do.
Yeah.
For me, there's a lot of beautiful moments recently, as in the film events. It's something we started, as Maria said, in 2023. I am so happy every time I get to welcome a filmmaker to the Q&A stage and have an excuse to digest and talk about their work. So that's a really important moment. It's several moments that happens every year. But I want to, say thank you to all the filmmakers who sit with me on stage and I get to prod them in front of people. And they always do amazing. But one moment in particular that I thought was really beautiful and touching and was very inspiring, I know to you as well, Maria, was in 2020 we had Scarecrow. Is that right?
Oh, yes. Yes, it was
Scarecrow
2020.
by Songmu and the team. And Scarecrow is an immersive theatre project in which you would come into Vrchat and be a character in a play that was happening around you with characters who played by actors interacting with a scarecrow who was coming to life. And towards the end of the festival in 2020, the team decided to open that experience up to as many people as they could fit in the world. And we didn't, it was very experimental. The actors, just did the best they could. And how many people was it who went to?
40 at the time.
40
yeah.
people went to this really intimate immersive theatre experience, but really engaged in it and were so quiet and responsive. And it was a really beautiful moment of seeing, all 40 people really intimately engage with each other and take part and play a character and kind of step outside of your skin for a moment and just be in something together. We have a lot of moments like that at the festival where people can really engage with something in a social way and go to an event. But that piece, Scarecrow, I think was the first time I'd really experienced that with a large group of people at the festival. And so this big Scarecrow immersive theatre event with 40 people was just magical. And at the end, there's a big climax where you have to defeat a kind of monster in the sky, a firebird. And everyone was like, it was like the end of Harry Potter, where everyone's like casting spells and it's this big crescendo. So that was a moment that really struck me in the community atmosphere of it. But so many other moments like that, like Connected Waves we had.
You actually reminded me of something about Scarecrow, if I may add two things to the story. So it started as a physical location-based entertainment experience and it premiered in January 2020 at Sundance, just before we went into lockdown. And they made a submission to Raindance, and in February I was calling the director. He's based in Korea. And I said, well, Raindance is not going to happen physically, but can I show you a social VR platform? Yes? Is it Unity based that you've created? Yes? Yeah, we have it in Unity. I was like, great. Okay. So, I don't know, 6 hours later, we both come out. And the director is telling me, Maria, I'm committed. I'm gonna adapt this to Vrchat. Like I'm on it. Like, yeah. Please, just bear with me. I'll show you a preview. And it was incredible how he adapted a theater play that in physical reality it was one actor and one audience member, and then in Vrchat we had as many as 40 people, which at the time that was quite revolutionary. And then another beautiful moment happened is when we were actually screening VMet in VR in London in 2022 in physical reality. And Songmo, the director, he came to London because we had another XR experience by his team in the selection. And we hosted a panel about immersive theater. And he enters the cinema and I'm on stage, I'm like introducing speakers, and he is walking down the stairs onto the stage, and I start crying, and he starts crying because we kind of met in reality for the first time, and I'm live on stage hosting the Raindance Immersive Summit, and we were like sobbing there, and everyone was like, because we met first time in VR in 2020, but it felt like, meeting an old friend. And similar feeling when we were screening VMet in VR and seeing some of the cast members in physical reality. That was pretty emotional for them as well, but for me personally as well.
Yeah.
And that year, I think the motto of the whole festival was VMet in VR, because at least in London, And we were like, oh yeah, we met in VR for the first time. Oh yeah, and we were like, wait a second. Someone named his film We Met in VR. Just, yeah, it's a beautiful name.
That was 2022.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
That
I think
was 2022.
maybe good to say that across the board, you can tell that like it's about the people.
Yes.
For us, you know, we've
100%.
mentioned some specific projects whilst we're talking, like Scarecrow, but we love everyone that is a part of the festival. So, like, thank you to the people who make this what it is and share their work with us. That's what drives us, and it's what gives us these moments to share on podcasts like this. And so, yeah, we could probably go on and talk about this particular subject forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just wanted to state that for the record.
Yeah, I was
I
a
got a
little
cl-
nervous to to reference a specific thing because I'm so proud of all of it, you know. So
Yeah.
obviously, you know, we love our Raindance fam very much.
I got a question for mine. Okay, if somebody comes up to you and asks you a little bit of advice, what advice do you give them to basing on rain dance? And if they want to come in or whatever, what's your between each one of you and your own point of view, what advice do you give them?
Oh, well, the last time I saw you here, Novid, was October.
Yeah, absolutely. That ghost ship was definitely something, to say the least. But we're here now.
Here to tell you something amazing. Right now, PJKT application is open until May 12th. So if you go right down the description, which will give you to the Discord, discord.gg/PJKT. You'll have all the information you need to sign up for your community, your creators. We're open to communities, creators, and people are building things, and content creators as well. Everything is right down in the Discord, right for you. What else do we have here? What is PJKT, Novid?
Well, PJKT is a virtual convention here in Vrchat that holds many different types of events within Project Fest, from film showcases with Project Lens, from developer talks with Project Inc., as well as many live performances and many different events held by the community through our events applications forms as well. It'll also be down in that Discord, discord.gg/PJKT. So, of course, make sure to go check it out.
Most definitely. And PJKT this year is going to be June 27th through July 7th. So mark it down in your calendars. We'd love to see you there. See you this summer, folks.
Oh.
Thanks, would you like to start?
They just throw it on you. Here, take this.
I can start too.
Hey, have it. Let's all
Totally
pass it over to
okay.
the next person.
We'll start with live shows. Because that's actually something that I've spoken with you both about before is live performances here on the platform, which have just grown to immense levels in terms of talent and what people are capable here when it comes to all the technical things that go behind a live performance. But, live music's across any genre, you name it, jazz, rock, rap, J-pop, electronic music, beatboxing, whatever, so there are groups out there who are literally performing music, giant groups using third-party softwares like Synchron or Sonobus to allow artists to perform remotely from their individual spaces over the network without any latency. So we get people like you mentioned before, the EMN jazz sessions.
Mm-hmm.
That's a full band. And they're all performing together at the same time, and we're hearing it in real time. And that to me is just absolutely fascinating, spectacular that we're even able to do stuff like that. And then also, when people come to us and they try to inquire about their clubbing events. So we don't just accept clubbing events. It can't just be like a DJ with some lights. A lot of the electronic music experiences we have for the festival have a narrative to them. They use shaders and animations and all these different visual elements to kind of drive that narrative, which is really important. A good example was God as a DJ, as you were explaining earlier. Yeah, you want to take it
Or
away?
Kaleido Sky.
Yeah.
Favorite example of mine, actually. What was really amazing that Ru and team Shout out to Rue. We love Mama Rue. They chose the theme of Down the Rabbit Hole. So it was Alice in Wonderland theme with various performers being different characters, which was obviously different to the usual Kaleidosky shows, a little bit different. And Rue was also the kind of host and the narrator in the White Rabbit avatar. And the script or the narrative that they co-wrote together is just so beautiful. And it came to life in 2 weeks. It was just mad. Like the production time was just amazing. But, you know, that's what happens when amazing talent comes together. And it was musicians, DJs, you know, Starheart singing jazz. She was actually Alice in Wonderland, and visual artists and dancers, and there was Dust Bunny and Chocolate with Willie who were dancing and creating the visuals, and it was just spectacular. And a lot of the Kaleidosky regulars came as well. And they said how much they loved it because it was it was special. It was a bit different than usual. So yeah, they appreciated it, and that narrative really, really shined. Yeah. I would also like to recommend those of you watching and thinking about submit as early as you can. Get on our radar, because when we see a submission to come in, it's typically myself reaching out or various team members, but we look through every single submission, we connect with everyone, and then we want to meet you in Vrchat or Resonite, or, you know, if it's a social X or a platform. We would like you and we want you to show us your work, and right there and then we give you feedback. And then if we feel that your kind of proposal has a lot of potential, but maybe might need a bit more feedback, then we very proactively work with you over weeks and months. And, you know, if you submit on the last day of the submission, which is 30th of March, there is not enough time for us to help you. So it's kind of submit as early as possible, please. Even if it's just, I don't know, a script of a film with a storyboard, you haven't shot it yet. Submit, make a submission, put your work and yourself on our radar. And we'll reach out, we'll start having a conversation. We'll have a conversation with you. And yeah, that's a very, very good way to meet us, get to know us. Also gives you the opportunity to introduce yourself to our team and our festival. And, you know, sometimes we see talent that might not quite be ready for this year. And that happened. We then follow up and then, you know, try to work with those creators for the upcoming years. So it's never really a wasted opportunity or wasted time. That's
Absolutely.
my main advice. Submit early.
We're just people. Oops, sorry.
No, you go for it.
We're just people here on the platform. You know, don't be scared to come talk to us. We don't bite. I feel like a lot of people might get intimidated just because of the name of Raindance, but we're all just VR chatters and we celebrate your art. So please come to us.
And
Yeah,
it's free.
the other day,
to submit.
I was
Stating the
just-
obvious. Like just submit because
that's
it's free.
true.
You can. Like, and the submission form doesn't take a long time. So if you have
What do you got to lose? What's
Yeah.
the worst that can happen?
it's free, people.
Fang,
say
I've been
no,
around
you
you.
know?
I know you bite. Don't tell me you don't.
Ah,
It's even in your name. It says Fang, so don't give me that. Okay, yeah. I hear
They're
ya,
fangs in
yeah.
training.
No,
Exactly.
fangs and what? Fangs and oh man, God. Okay, I'll let you have that one. I'm not gonna go there. I'll be nice.
Mom, can I share one more thing?
Of
Yeah,
course.
please.
This is almost like counterproductive to submissions, but we also have a lot of people submitting to the festival and participating in the festival that really crunch and wear themselves out in delivering a final product to us, which we're always obviously immensely grateful for, and we pour our hearts into those people with support. But also take care of yourself would be my advice. Be patient with your work and let it happen and be born when it needs to. So just keep that in mind with the timeline of the festival and the submission deadline. Don't crunch for us. only if you feel like you can.
Yeah.
And it's
'cause
an
we're
important
very mindful of
point.
that.
We don't want anyone to feel like it's a job that they're creating. We want people to enjoy what they're doing. And that's when creativity flourishes. When it's crunch time, then no one's enjoying it. Not even us. When we see a creator in kind of like crunch mode, it's not amazing to watch. There were some instances last year, 2 artists, where we mutually agreed, even though we already confirmed that they would be selected, but then we agreed that they can't quite finish it on time, so they will make a comeback this year.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
not really worth it to have like us have people in the festival if they're stressing out to get their art into the festival. Like, it's not worth it for anyone. It's like mutually detrimental. They want people to enjoy their process, celebrate their process, and then in return we'll celebrate their process as well. But, there's always next year. If you can't make it in this year, like, it's not worth crunching if it's gonna cause you mental pain.
And yeah, at the end of the day, it's about good energy, and we want to celebrate the good energy. And yeah, there is a lot of great energy before, during, and kind of after the festival as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. So after everything, or since you've come into Vrchat and done Raindance here, have any of you been inspired into stuff in your real life or pushed you to do something new?
You mean
Oh,
at the
wow.
physical festival, or?
Either or, like within your own projects, like for what you do here in Raindance, we've been inspired to do something. Have you led to another project of sorts?
Oh gosh, there's probably, yeah. Okay, so there's many incredible collaborations that happen. So people meet, and then, well, I'm already seeing some artists who were in the selection last year with 2 separate projects, and now they're joining forces and are already presenting us their joint project. And yeah, it's exciting. I think the most exciting thing is seeing how obviously the festival brings people together, and that's our main kind of goal and mission. And then very interesting collaborations start flourishing and happening. And it's across the board. It's in live performances, it's in world building, it's in filmmaking. And I guess perhaps a great example of like, oh my goodness, like, wow, a great collaboration happens. Like, we were giving this group last year the Spirit of Raindance Award. And when I was announcing it with Joe on stage, the words I said, a legendary dancer and dance choreographer, a legendary theater director, and legendary world builder teamed up. So Dust Bunny, Maikano, and Prowler, and created Shadow Canyon. And in each aspect, that experience was incredible. The world was amazing. Beautiful environmental storytelling, real-time lighting, shadows, so kind of pushing the innovation envelope as well. The dance choreography and the dances, and just Dusty's group, just impeccable, incredible. And then the story, and also the actors from Skids and Bits who were directed by Maikana, just like these 3 things, these 3 people, and the team members coming together, and it all kind of clicked. It just beautiful, 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 beautiful. So that's, for me, probably the most rewarding thing, to see various people collaborating and doing absolutely groundbreaking, incredible work. Genre-defining work more often than not. Or sometimes we can't even categorize it into a genre. And we have such submissions already where we're like, oh, where will this fit in? It's
a common
quite
problem.
interesting, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the question is also about personal impact. Like, how has it impacted you as well? I don't know if you have something to say there, Maria.
I grow with this festival. We all grow together, so there is no such thing as it's growing with the community, being inspired, also echoing Fangs's words, we have that moments of happy cries, and also growing with the team here. Shout out to all of you. This would not have happened without you. So yeah, every year we learn new things about the industry thanks to the artists, and in fact we learn with every submission that we are reviewing, whether it's accepted into the selection or not. It's just really an eye opener.
Do you want to share?
Sure. I think just being a part of Raindance in general has really opened up my eyes to what people and artists are capable of creating. I didn't really know a lot of the things that people were making were even possible, stuck in public lobbies or club worlds. I didn't really even realize that people were making these artistic experiences, these narrative experiences, these crazy music experiences that are, ever encompassing and like completely immersive. I was oblivious to all that. I was just enjoying being in Vrchat, and that just set my expectations so much higher when I realized that people, are pouring their heart and soul out and creating these absolutely mind-bending, otherworldly experiences here on this platform and other social VR platforms, and then also, outside of that as well. It really honestly just inspired me and compelled me to learn how all of this works and to try and do that for myself, because I would like to do that as well.
Yeah. I can shout out that the very first VR headset I tried was at Raindance in 2018. I was a volunteer to the festival, helping to manage the physical venue in London before Vrchat, and so I have a lot to thank there. And that was the first time we met as well. When I was a volunteer. And the impact the festival has had, but VR in general has had, is immense for me. I definitely felt a strength and an inspiration in connecting with the community and talking about the film work I was doing with those attending the festival. There's a really strong sense of support and a good energy for making stuff in general. People want to see you succeed, and that was felt for me, and encouraged me to make more film work, which in 2020 was a really important moment as I started making my first feature, which then completely transformed my career and has allowed me to form my own production studio focused on doing virtual production projects and helping to pioneer this real-time collaborative networked filmmaking scene that I really established I didn't personally establish, the community established in Vrchat, which we are now honoring and I'm giving back to in Raindance. So it feels like it's come full circle in a way that the festival really helped my inspiration in making films, and now I'm able to give back to that with celebrating others and giving filmmakers a stage to talk and meet and foster collaborations, as Maria said. So yeah, it's had a huge impact, and VR has really brought me my closest friends and collaborators in Vrchat and outside of it in real life. So yeah, huge impact for me.
Same. Definitely same. Also, shout out to the filmmakers of Vrchat. We love you guys and everything that you're doing. But yeah, it's also had a huge impact on everything that I've done as well. As someone who is always very social and very prominent in the Boston music scene, when the pandemic hit, my industry basically crumbled overnight, and being able to, participate in that from the comfort of my home studio has been honestly, a huge game changer for me. And since then, VR has kind of become my personality. This is where I am comfortable. This is where I've made so many friends that I connect and collaborate with, including these lovely people here next to me and our other co-curators. And then the other people that I make music with and make films with. It's become kind of like my home. So very grateful that we're able to celebrate all the art here with Raindance. So yeah.
Well, I'm glad to hear that all of you had that kind of profound impact on you from coming into VRChat. Did you expect any of that when doing VR Raindance?
That's a great question.
Yeah, actually, one thing that sparkles in my mind, I remember kind of 2013, 2014, early VR meetups in London, and people were kind of asking each other, what's the killer app of VR? What will be that killer app, that killer application? And I don't, from day one, I was like, it's going to be social. It's going to be when people, multiplayer games where people will be able to come together. I mean, it's kind of social networks that kind of made the internet what it is. So I was like, it is going to be social. And then I don't know, Beat Saber happened, and people were like, no, it's Beat Saber, and I'm like, wait, it's going to be social. It is going to be multiplayer games, and take Gorilla Tag. I mean, that game made a fortune, right? So yeah, it's definitely social spaces, people coming together, and in creativity platforms like VRChat, it's just beautiful. For me personally, this is an art platform. I see it as a canvas, as a blank canvas for artists to come, which actually I'm very proud of. Also last year we gave our virtual world category a new spin. We called it Best Art World, and the 4 experiences that we selected were all created by visual artists who were kind of coming from outside of VRChat into VRChat, and also Resonite. And they know 3D modeling. Many of them have their own original 3D art. For example, shout out to Dirk van der Meer, the creator of Suku. And also shout out to the Strange Ways team, because they created a 3-dimensional world out of 2D illustrations, which was really, really fantastic, really, really interesting. So yeah.
So you
very
knew.
Inspiring.
You knew that VR chat and social.
Yeah, I mean, it's social.
Surprise.
It's all about connecting people. Yeah, absolutely.
I think the community is almost the catalyst. I think being able to, collaborate with other people and gain wisdom and information with other people is like a huge supporter for people who are just trying to make it like art as an individual. And it's very apparent here. People want to share their secrets and their techniques. I mean, of course, there's always the people who gatekeep, and that's fine, But for the most part, people want to share what they're making, and they want other people to utilize it too. And I think that's a really beautiful thing.
I didn't expect coming into VR chat specifically, or getting into VR in general, to have such a transformative impact on what I was interested in exploring, and the way of finding the people that I'm closest to. Certainly did not expect it, and I don't think many people did. Well, it sounds like Maria did. You knew. But I know it was really surprising to me, and it's really been about the people. The people surprised me. The genuine conversations you can have in a present online space that this platform can provide. It's it was really surprising, and for filmmaking to become as polished and seamless as it is now in this platform in particular. There's other ways of doing virtual production and real-time VR filmmaking, but there's not a community quite like the filmmakers of this platform. And to see them thrive is naturally been really impactful for me, and has given me confidence in shooting more work and exploring what it means to make documentaries in this environment, which has been my career for the past 5 years, purely out of curiosity for the architecture of this environment and how people can foster relationships within it. I feel like I'm rambling now, but
No,
yeah, I
was
didn't
gonna say,
expect that
please
to happen.
Keep
It
touching
was
base
like,
on the
yeah.
Vrchat filmmakers. I think you should
Yeah.
expound on that.
Sure, led by curiosity the whole way, and I think that's the best way to be creatively, is to follow what is curious to you. Filmmakers of Vrchat, just to go on a tangent, is a community of filmmakers in this platform, and there is their name, and there's a Discord server and events that you can go to if you're interested in real-time VR filmmaking. They're a great welcoming group, and that I'm very much a part of and really appreciate. And that group is very closely tied to our film and music video category. And so big respect to all of them helping to teach people, teach each other, and get each other into filmmaking. So yeah, if you're curious about them, you can find them through Raindance if you come to the festival, or find them on social media, maybe you could link it in the description somehow.
Oh.
They exist. Filmmakers of Vrchat. There's a community of filmmakers, and you should get involved if you're interested in filmmaking, or just email me. That's another way.
It'll be in the description for you to find, as well as all the other fun links. Right down that way are the episode description in Spotify. Yeah. Well,
Thank you.
no problem. We try to make sure every guest has all their social links and websites listed down below for people to find. It is, at least if someone listening is inspired or wants to come, they can just go down there and click the link in a very easy way, instead of like searching Raindance on Twitter and trying to find, is it the immersive one or is it the real one, and which one do I go to? It's just a couple clicks.
Okay, perfect. There you go. It's all in the description. Thank you so much.
No problem. I do have another question for you as well. Since it seems like you're with both people in here and outside, when you try to describe what you do with Raindance Immersive to people who aren't familiar, what is their general response to it?
From the people?
Yeah, from like when you go try to tell people what Raindance Immersive is or what you've done over the years to someone who's not familiar with any of this, how do they generally respond when you tell them?
We say, we're arts and cultural organization, a festival, both physically in London and then in social VR. People then start asking questions like, what is social VR? So it's, very easy way to explain, like, people get together in these like virtual spaces with their headsets, typically from their homes, and then they share different experiences, they collaborate together. Generally, people are, I don't know. Some people say that maybe we're like 10 years ahead. I don't know. Some people might have various visions of the metaverse and what that might be. So it's not quite common yet to host festivals in social XR spaces. Of course, there are some incredible conventions here in Vrchat, or incredible events like Virality. But yeah, we need to educate the public so they understand. But yeah, once you explain it to them, then how do I get a headset? Which headset should I buy? So there's all that kind of practical questions. How much does it cost? And yeah, that kind of stuff.
A lot.
Or not that much. Depends how much you want to invest.
Okay. So over the years, have you guys had any favorite submissions or that have stuck with you as people?
Oh God, many. Ooh.
Oh.
That will be another tangent.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
That's kind of a big question.
Yeah.
I also
You're
don't think it's
feeding him.
fair. I don't think
You're
it's fair
feeding
to
him.
name favorites.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think it's
as
in
curators,
poor
we have to.
taste.
We're impartial, right?
Yes.
Yes,
It's our job.
there's so many we love, though.
I
sure.
would say if an experience gets selected to Raindance, it's because of its high quality or innovation or both, incredible story. It's gonna emotionally move you. So everything that we select is top notch. That given year.
It's a favorite. Yeah.
It's a favorite in that case.
Everything we've had in the
absolutely,
selection is a favorite of the curation team. That's a good answer.
Absolutely. There's definitely things too that we would like to curate, but they don't quite fit into any of the categories. And those are favorites
Yeah.
too, but they
That's
didn't.
the hard part.
Yeah, that is. The
Actually,
hard part
maybe
was-
another shout out, because why not? I've been giving shout outs quite a lot. The way how we started to curate short films and music videos in 2023 was Ariel, shout out to you, when she dropped Ulterior Motives. I watched it and I'm picking up the phone like, Joe, we now have to have a category. We now have to have a category. So we opened submissions, and it was very much inspired by Ulterior Motives. And then we received so many incredible submissions, including music videos, that we were like, wait a second, it's not one category, it's two. Short films and music videos. And then hopefully, maybe even this year, we might have 3 documentary as well. Documentary shorts. That would be cool.
Yeah.
We shall see.
So, yeah. Documentary filmmakers outside of VRChat, come to VRChat. In VRChat, make more documentaries. Thank you.
There you go. No problem.
No problem.
Another question like that is, how much has the filming scene and art scene here in VRChat changed since you've come in? And how do you feel watching it kind of grow since you've started?
Exponentially. I would say 2020 was kind of the world building. It was all about world building. And if I can kind of simplify my answer, then in 2021 the music scene started exploding, and that already Sly did Slyfest back in 2020, another shout out. And then Dust Bunny 2022, I think she launched VRDA, then the dance community started to grow. Ferryman Collective, one of the pioneers of immersive theater. So yeah, each year there is something that kind of blows up. And last year actually we had more live performances in the selection than ever across music, dance, electronic music, jazz,
Yeah.
you name it, all kinds of genres. More than just kind of virtual worlds. Yeah, it was heavily live performance. Was good half of the selection were live performances.
Especially after Yamaha came out with Synchrom, which sadly isn't viable here in the States, but is very viable in Japan. And so that was where we started to see a lot of synchronized live shows come from Japan, which has been really crazy. We mentioned that earlier, but we also have Sonobus here in the States, but it doesn't really work quite as well. But there are some acts I have seen utilize it. So
Right. And the filmmaking community in VR, I think, in VRChat in particular, has also really grown with the technology. The camera tools have been, developing, I think, quite a lot since 2020. VRC Lens by Hirobiki is a really widely used virtual cinema camera tool that you can upload on your avatar that assists with the native VRChat camera, and it gives you an expanded amount of tools to shoot work in this platform. So that was a huge boom in people using that technology, which really came in late 2020, and was also the camera that I used as soon as it released. I made my first feature film with it, and I know many other filmmakers were on the same path. But recently, the native VRChat camera has been getting more updates, and so filmmaking here is a lot more accessible than when I first came in. You don't need to do anything in Unity to pick up a really amazing cinema camera. Now it's built in. You can change depth of field, zoom in, and I know the developers are working on improving it today and going to be releasing new tools. So yeah, filmmaking is becoming more accessible in this space, which is amazing for fiction, incredible for documentary, but also fantastic for event. or interviews like we're having right now. So yeah, I think access has been the biggest impact of or growth of filmmaking, is that the access to the technology and the access to the teachers who are willing to share how to use it and encourage others to use it, which I hope I've been able to do at Raindance and through my films too.
You certainly have.
Yeah, definitely.
100%. Yes, you've been the trailblazer, Joe.
Well,
Set the standard.
Well, thank you. Too kind.
Yeah,
Just
and
being real.
also, yeah, when Udon came, SDK3, that was quite exponential as well for world builders.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing. It was awesome to hear your perspective on the growth of things. Now, what do you expect to come with Raindance this coming year, since we're about closing up with applications here in about a month? Hello, I'm actually here to interrupt the episode you're watching really quick to ask you a favor. Please come join us at any of the other locations we have. You can find us on YouTube and Spotify, both of which we post our episodes and are very up to date on both. We have Discord where you go to hang out all the time, where you're gaming and shooting the breeze over with many people over that way. Feel free to come join us. I invite you. If you wish to support us, we have a Patreon where we post a bunch of random bits, bobs, and extra podcasts every once in a while for you to go enjoy. Also, if you wish to support us while in Vrchat, we're now part of the creator economy. So please come join if you wish to support us there. It's there for you to choose if you so wish. And thank you very much. And a special thanks to some of the people who have signed up on our Patreon, which are as follows. And I have written down so I'll remember. And that's a tough thing. Forbidden Zero, Niche, Aliquum, Future Oracle, Lesser Capybara, and Frozen. Thank you all very much. Enjoy the rest of the episode.
Yeah, we can share some dates. So 30th of March is when our submissions close. So we still have a month. Please make your submission as early as possible, so that we can start having those conversations before it's too late. And then we'll kick off the festival in Vrchat on 6th of June, and then all the way to Sunday the 29th of June. That gives us 4 weekends. And then in London, Raindance Film Festival will kick off on June the 18th, and the first 5 days, so kind of like from June 18th to the 21st, we'll have our XR showcase, the physical showcase for narratives and games. And also on June the 20th, which is a Friday, we'll have our Raindance Immersive Summit, which is a full day of talks. We also screen the short films and music videos there to a physical audience, which is also really exciting and interesting. So those are the key dates to remember.
I can add another key date on the 14th
Please
and
do.
15th of June. The 14th and 15th is going to be when we screen all of the short films and music videos in the category. So if that's the category
in
you're interested in most, then yeah, we'll be having our virtual screenings on the 14th and 15th.
And I'll
think those are all
probably
our
be
big
streaming
dates.
them.
Yeah. Yes, that's right. You can't come in headset. Otherwise, you can expect another, hopefully incredibly inspiring, a lot of crying from our side as usual. Great, amazing festival of 2025.
Yeah, we've got
Yes.
we've been already in the works with talking to a lot of artists. We're really excited. This is we haven't mentioned this. This is the 10th anniversary.
The 10th
Raindance
edition
Immersive.
of the festival. It's a big one, yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, 10 years of Raindance
Yeah,
Immersive. It's a special year.
Congrats.
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
Nice one.
Thank you.
Congratulations on 10
So we're
years.
trying to make the program extra special. In celebration of that really important milestone here
we
in
might
the
be doing
XR medium.
some special things.
Yeah,
Oh.
and
Maybe.
inviting back also the artists from previous years. So it will be a full festival for sure.
Well, what can some of those things be that people can expect to see for this 10th year?
I don't think we cannot say that. Yeah. Celebration.
Definitely
It's a
live
secret.
performances. Definitely live performances. Definitely some very beautiful virtual worlds and some moving films and lovely music videos. And
That's
some
for
great
certain.
games as well. Yes.
And maybe it's worth saying, if you're curious more about the festival, go on the website. Fangs has cut a beautiful video from last year that just kind of shows the festival in a nutshell, gives you a bit more of an impression of what it's like to actually engage and experience it. So for those interested in coming this year, I think that's a great video to watch. Thanks to Fangs.
Aw, shucks.
RaindanceImmersive.com/awards is where the video is.
Also on our YouTube.
Yeah, just search for Raindance Immersive on YouTube, and it's all there.
Oh.
You'll find lots of cool videos from years past, not just from last year.
I'd also like to ask you, Joe, a question on some of the stuff you've worked on as well. I wouldn't forgive myself for not asking while we have you here with us. The projects you've been working
Of
on, such
course.
as We Met at Vrchat and the one you're working on now, what led to those, and may I ask?
Oh yeah, thank you. I appreciate the question. What led to the making of We Met in VR was naturally it was the pandemic. I think COVID and the lockdown gave me a justification and a reason to make a feature film after making several short films and a series prior to that. So that was a real seed in just giving me a context and an urgency to the story. During that time, everyone was coming into VR and using it as a space to be present with others and have company. So that was really important. And I'd been in VR chat for 2 years prior to making the film, going to classrooms and meeting people and just having my own experiences that I wanted to capture that. And I had a lot of personal attachment to wanting to express stories from this place and how human people are in this space, even in kind of anonymous avatars most of the time. And so that was the initial seed, and I approached the making of the film with a lot of patience and kind of taking an anthropological approach of just capturing my lived experience and combining aspects of observational documentary with more traditional expositional forms to really allow people to understand this world in a traditional way that they would see in a other real life documentary. And so there was a lot of effort put into. I'm gone for a moment. I'm back. This is important
This
too.
happens sometimes
this
during our
happens.
award ceremonies.
Is he over there? I just want to make sure he's in the chair. I think I lost it somewhere.
That's a legendary Joe move. Goodbye.
That is, yeah, I know it happens often.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also a big part. I'll share one last note on We Met in VR is presenting VR with all of its imperfections and its hilarity and its beauty. I wasn't seeing any work that was really showing VR for what it was in the moment and its existing truth. And I wanted that to exist, and I wanted to watch it for myself, and so I made the film I wanted to watch with incredible people who I discovered and I'm still really close to. Everyone you see in the documentary is a dear friend of mine, and we became so close throughout the making of the film and then meeting in person to tour it around the world and take it to film festivals like Sundance. The success of that film, of course, but also the joy I had making it definitely informed me that I wanted to do more documentary work. And most recently, I just premiered in January of 2025 my new short documentary called The Reality of Hope at Sundance, which tells a really moving story of two friends who met in VR, one based in Stockholm and the other in New York. The VR developer who lives in Stockholm was diagnosed with kidney failure, and his friend from New York flew over from the US to Sweden to donate his kidney to him and meet in real life for the first time. and it's shot both in VR and physically in real life. I want to just mention that story and that film because it goes to show the impact of this space, and it was really nice to give back to a story and tell their story because it was very similar to what I went through, thankfully without the health impact that is appearing in the film. Needless to say, I will stop talking. That's some notes on my inspiration, and The Reality of Hope will be coming out later this year as well. For anyone who's curious about my work, the film will be releasing. A trailer is coming out very soon.
And both of those films are very moving. If you haven't seen We Met in Virtual Reality, it's on HBO Max.
Yes.
Before I actually really became friends with you, I had watched the film and I cried a lot. Just feeling like an immense connection to the community here resonated with me. And then, I cried a lot during The Reality of Hope as well. You're a very talented filmmaker, you and your team. And it's really just a testament to like how strong the bonds people make here on the platform. They're not just things that people, have happen, through the internet. Like, it's real. People make real friendships here. People get married here. It's really it's mind-boggling, but it's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, and also I would say your films do so much good for the industry as well, and just raising awareness about VR. It's these human stories that happen here are so powerful, more powerful than any $1 million marketing campaign that might be marketing a headset. I'd say definitely.
Absolutely.
Wow.
You're so
thank you.
talented, Joe.
Yeah, well, these two are incredibly talented too. I could wash them with compliments. I really appreciate everything that was said.
Go watch the film, people. Go watch it.
Well, funny enough as well, when I first was coming into VRChat over the years, one of the things mentioned me I should watch, even before the interviews here started, was your documentary as well. Very
thank
commonly.
you. That's really meaningful to hear. I'm glad it's reached people and has enabled people to be inspired, and it's the highest reward you can have as a filmmaker. So thank you.
Oh. Over the years, what have been some things that all three of you have learned from your experiences here?
I think it all goes back to human connection, I think, and curiosity. And by being curious, coming here, you'll get to meet new people who probably at one point will become your collaborators. I'm seeing that a lot. Like coming here with open mind, open heart, getting to know people, that sparkles a lot of, next adventures, definitely. It's each time you meet someone new and kind of get to know them, especially if they are doing art or thinking about doing art, it's very inspirational.
It's just such a vibrant community, really. And as someone who has been very active in the artist community locally, I've never made or collaborated with so many people in my in the short period of time I was doing art physically in New England. It doesn't even compare to how much I've done here on the platform, the connections I've made, the people I've met, just the people who are just so proactive when it comes to making art, and just the minds here. It's I keep on saying it. It's beautiful, and I'm just really happy to be here. Truly, very grateful.
Yeah. Well, what I've learned is I've been exposed to so many diverse voices of people, and I think to be really specific, and I say this with like so much respect. Something I didn't know anything about before coming into VR was about the neurodivergent experience, and how many people are coming into VR, not just Vrchat, that identify as neurodivergent. That was something that was really new for me, as someone who considers themselves neurotypical. Like, wasn't exposed to that, and it's like a superpower for many, but also can be, quite difficult for many too. And I just wanted to flag that because there's so much respect in that, and so many people come to the festival, get to meet others who perhaps consider themselves that way, and it comes back to inclusion, diversity. But just to be specific and give like a really specific answer, that was really impactful for me and taught me a lot about self-acceptance and an acceptance of your mind, and how wild brains can be sometimes, but how you can roll with it and it can give you talents.
They be crazy. Brains be crazy.
That was my big lesson from VR. Was
Yeah, and you have to deal with
accept
me.
your brains.
Hello, I'm a neurodivergent.
Yeah, there you go.
I like to call it neurospicy.
Well, so
Neurogenius.
No, not me. Some.
well, last couple of questions like that before we wrap things up. First of which is the names you use in VRChat. Where'd it come from and why do you still use it?
Our usernames?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
oh, it's a collage of my real name, my first name and my surname. Easy.
Shall I go?
Yeah, please do.
Okay. Well, mine is from a video game that I played when I was a teenager, and I role-played as a bard in a small village in the online survival game. And I called myself Little Poe, and I would run around this village and I'd play music and sing for people in this game. And I was so beloved and got so much attention from doing that, and I just really enjoyed it and kind of became this character of Little Poe. And then when I joined VRChat, that was just the first name that came to mind. I had no intention of being a bard, but the origins of my username was being a bard in a survival online game. Not shared that story very often, so now it's out. I know. I can't sing, in fact. No, I think people actually had pity on me. I think that was where the love came from. Probably. Yeah. So there you go. The story's out.
I don't believe he can
Can you
sing.
sing?
He can
Fangs wants to start a band video. I can see the pattern.
we call it Little Pose.
Little Poe the Bard.
How about Big Pose?
Live this Raindance 2025.
Big in the Little
performance
Pose.
by Little Poe the Bard. Yeah. Go on, Fangs.
I think I've already told you guys this in the past, but so back in 2012, I created a band with my best friend and then also someone who was in my first band in high school that we just happened to form a band when I was 12, but still my best friend to this day. We created a band called TrainingFangs. So I changed all my social media to TrainingFangs because I already had followers and stuff. Well, back then when like 1,000 followers is a lot of followers. Ooh. And so, yeah, it just kind of stuck and it just became my username. But I recently found out that there's a couple from Colorado who stole my name and have a band. So if you're out there, give me back my username. Because I had it first. No, they're actually, I've listened to them. They're quite good. They make cute kind of indie acoustic music. But yeah, it was a band name that became my username, and it just kind of stuck. And people here in VRChat called me Fangs, and I liked that. So here we are.
I feel like my username is almost irrelevant now. I'm known as Joe, and if you find me, you're welcome to call me Joe. There's like the people who really know me and know the bard origins will call me Poe. Special kind of Poe. Anyway,
Well, like Little Poe,
carry
Joe, Little Joe. You know, it's kind of.
They're very similar. Yeah, very similar.
Mm.
It's worst when you call me little or when you get called training. And they just take
Yeah,
that
I
part.
hate that.
Careful.
I don't say
Careful.
anything, but when people call me training, I'm like, it says call me Fangs. But whatever, whatever.
We're going in deep
It comes, it comes with the territory. It's totally fine.
The last question is the avatar you're in. Why'd you choose it? And is there anything about it that means anything to you?
Oh my.
Shout out to Fronada for creating this avatar. He's the creator of the GoGo Local system here as well. I actually used just a video game character avatar during the first 2020 year of Raindance in VRChat. And I sent Fronada a picture. So this is moi, more or less, in real life. And I would always wear this black dress, which actually in real life is shorter. But I told him, don't make it too short. I need to be presentable and I need to be, representing a physical arts and culture organization. It can't be revealing or anything. So yeah, that a bit boring story, but yeah, this is kind of based off of my real self. But my Raindance self. Yeah. Otherwise I wear pink. But
very
not at
professional.
Raindance. I don't wear pink at Raindance.
What's wrong with
Only
pink?
pink lipstick. Only pink lipstick.
Maria has a pink beanie. I'm out.
I do have
actually.
I'm having more pink things at the moment, not just a beanie. But yeah,
Thanks.
that's me.
So this is my Cynthia avatar. I'm in a band with my sister called Cynthia. You folks probably already know about it, but we wear this outfit when we perform in real life. And our good buddy Dangleberry made this avatar for me. This avatar is actually 3 years old. No updates, no nothing. I just love it. And yeah, it's kind of become ubiquitous with who I am. Is that the right word? I think so. So yeah, this has kind of been me. So I wear it. Go ahead, Joe.
I used to make all of my own avatars. When I first joined VRChat, that was a thing I was really passionate about, was kind of owning my own avatar, the character I embodied. But
I
naturally
remember the
realized I'm
first
not.
one. It was very cute.
Exactly. Well, that justifies my
not
point in
that
saying
this
that
one is not cute,
they were
obviously.
they were very cute, quite childlike, and they weren't incredibly well made. So I commissioned a great friend of mine, very talented creator called G1 Fan, to create the avatar I am currently in. I mean, I've been in it for a few years, and I love its friendly face. It's very Animal Crossing inspired. I'm kind of interested in indie games and stylized narrative games. And that's kind of where the inspiration came. And yeah, I love it. It's a face that I feel like has become really, like you say, Fangs, very like important to my image now. So it'd be hard to change it. So yes, love everything about it.
Oh,
We should show him the Shiba one.
Yes, and over the years I've had people so kindly surprise me with different versions of Little Poe, and yeah, I have a Shiba version of me, and I also have like a owl version of me that was shown at Virality when I did a talk there. Someone surprised me with it.
So cute.
Oh, cool.
Which I'm very grateful for. So yeah,
I
there's lots of
love
versions
that.
of me, but this is normal human Poe. Raindance Poe.
Legendary.
oh.
Legendary.
I know those last two questions is a bit weird, though. I've always, Raptor and I both found it interesting why people choose the way they represent themselves in here in VR, and you can learn a lot why they chose their name and why the avatar, because it's usually very personal on how you show yourself here. So, bit of a personal question. So I'm sorry for that surprise.
It's
You're
great.
totally
I
good.
love, yeah, the like embodiment in this space is so important. I think
Very
the bodies we choose
important.
is fascinating. So it's, yeah, I love it. Love the.
One of the beautiful things about the platform. You can show yourself the way you want to be seen.
And if
And it's also nice too, what's the term? The meta self. People can, have multitudes. You can be whatever you want to be. You don't have to be just one thing, which is also really awesome.
Ooh. Well, thank you all very much for joining us. It was an absolute honor being actually to meet all three of you and having you back. So thank you.
Yes, very much so. We appreciate
Thank
it.
you ever so much
Thank
for
you.
having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Pleasure.
Pleasure was ours.
Yeah. Send all your stuff to us. We want to see your art. Send us your art.
Oh, on that note,
Watch
Thanks,
that,
everyone.
Fang.
where
That
can
might
they
get
find
you in trouble.
Well,
Oh no.
with that said,
Well, you
where
can
can
Oh,
find Raindance.
Oh.
Yeah, right. Do you want to repeat the question?
Oh, no, it's okay. They
You're
know
welcome.
at this point.
Okay, where can you find us? RaindanceImmersive.com. You can also find me personally at Joe A Hunting on Twitter, or Instagram is also Joe A Hunting. So that's how you find me. Or Painted Clouds is the name of my studio. You can look at us, paintedclouds.com, paintedcloudsfilm.com. So that's me.
My username, MariRaku, same on Blue Sky and Twitter. And yeah, RaindanceImmersive.com, more importantly.
Yeah. You can find me at Fangs VR on Twitter and Blue Sky, and on Cynthia Sisters YouTube, as well as Linktree.
Oh,
Can I also shout out GU and Joe Lee,
Joe.
our fellow curators of this year.
And
So
Choppy.
please, and yep, Choppy Ginger.
Our producer.
Consider their names as well.
We love you guys. Couldn't do it without you.
That's
oh.
right.
Mwah.
And
Thank
thank you
you.
again for having us. It's been
Yeah, thank
a
you.
great conversation.
Well, thank you. It was an honor being able to meet all of you. And all of those links they've mentioned will be down in the Hoobly What's It down below on YouTube and your Spotify episode description. All those links will be there for you to find. And this is the point we'll ask you, the audience, a question, but instead we'll make it a bit more personal. Today, being released, Metaverse Degen turned 3. So thank you all for joining us this long. It's been honestly kind of crazy. So for you here now, it's not till March 11th. But today, March 11th, Tuesday, we're 3. So thank you. It's been an honor being able to go on this entire journey with all of you. So thank you all. And Raptor, as always, you know that.
Woo! What an honor.
You got it. And we
Wow.
appreciate it. No matter what, folks, if you think that rain dance is somebody running around a campfire and trying to get it to rain in any form or fashion, look beyond the situation, that it's more than just that, because if it does rain in the world that you are in or might be around, somebody is doing something they enjoy, no matter what form or what fashion it might be. But just remember one thing: the lightning might get you, but the dance will not. Have a good one, folks. We'll talk to you later. Meow. 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 This is not as easy as it looks without making it. Meow. Meow. Beep beep. Mom, I forgot to get my flyer license. Yeah. My helicopter's in the ditch. Whoa, big hole. Whoa. Beep beep.